So the first thing you want to do is rewrite this so that it looks like x is equal to y squared, x is equal to y plus 2. So you truly have x equals, and then once you do that, then you can set the two functions equal to each other. So to find your bounds, you're going to set y squared equal to y plus 2. To solve, you'll move everything over to one side, and then factors, so you're thinking about factors of -2 that add up to -1, and those factors would be -2 and +1. So this will factor as y minus 2 and y plus 1 is equal to 0. And then you can set those factors equal, and you get y is equal to 2 and y is equal to -1. So your bounds of integration will go from -1 to 2. Now at that point, you then have to determine which is going to be the bigger function. So to do that, you might look at your x is equal to y squared and your x is equal to y plus 2, and maybe plug in, for example, like 0. And when you plug in 0, you're going to have 0 squared, so just 0. And then here you'll have 0 plus 2, or 2. So that tells you that your bigger function is going to be the y plus 2. And then your smaller function is the y squared. So you'll have y plus 2 minus the smaller function of y squared. So when you're setting up the integral, what it will look like is you will be integrating from -1 to 2 of y plus 2 minus y squared dy. And then you can integrate, so you'll add 1 to the exponent, divide by the new exponent, plus 2y minus y to the third over 3, and then -1 to 2. So now it just becomes a matter of plugging in your bounds. So in this case, my bound is, or plugging in the upper bound. So 2 squared over 2 plus 2 times 2 minus 2 to the third over 3 minus, and then plug in your lower bound, -1 squared over 2 plus 2 times -1 minus -1 to the third over 3. So your 2 squared, so 4 divided by 2 just gives you 2, plus 4 minus 8/3 minus, and then here you have 1/2 minus 2, and then a plus 1/3. And that, of course, is because the -1 cubed would actually give you a negative and then times another negative. So you're looking at 6 minus 8/3 and then minus 1/2. And then again, we'll just distribute here to all three of these terms. So minus 1/2 plus 2 minus 1/3. And then that will give us the 6 plus 2 gives you your 8 minus the 8/3 and the 1/3 becomes a -9/3 and then minus 1/2. So you have 8 minus 3 minus 1/2. So that just gives you 5 minus 1/2. And then get your common denominator, the 2 over 2. And so that gives us 10 over 2 minus 1/2, which gives you 9/2 as your final answer.